We're about a third of the way through.
Yeah. Is there anything you're dreading? I know I used my respin, so I didn't have to watch Six-Headed Shark. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Pointless Discourse with myself, Apocalypse, Itisdpayne.
I'm healthy.
I'm trying to be.
Hey, that's all we can ask.
Yeah, this is not our usual recording day, because I messaged Deepay and was like, it hurts for me to talk. And thankfully it moved, like, whatever I had stopped hurting my throat, but then now I'm fighting off congestion, so you pick your battles, I guess. But hey, I'm here without my camera on.
That's why there's the rabbit. It's, yeah, I realized that I've been blessed where I haven't had to not be on camera since we started going to the camera setup, but I'm like, if there ever comes a time when I don't have my camera on, I think it's only fair that Hop has to choose whatever picture goes up, because I choose it for everyone else because I edit it.
Yeah.
So, but
where's
we'll
that?
see.
Where's that cursed Sonic Photoshop thing where is it a Star Wars character mixed with Sonic?
Yeah, it's still my background.
Yeah, see? A perfect option.
I don't know where it is on my computer, but I'm pretty sure we can look through your Discord and find it, because I think that's where I got it.
It'd be a long time now, but yeah, maybe.
I'm going to start scrolling. Oh, that's in music. It wouldn't have been in music. It was in general.
Anyway, while you go on scrolling forever, because I don't know the last time I've really checked my Discord. Yeah, we're back at it with...
Me neither.
We're back at it with the wheel.
Yeah.
This last prompt was a suggestion from our significant others, our own respective ones. So I have no clue what Deepayne had, but Deepayne, I know you said you were worried you weren't going to get your suggestion fast enough, but you said it was your fastest movie choice.
Yeah, I got it the same day that we had
Spun the Wheel. Yeah, and then I got mine from Strider, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. I know for me, Strider picked a movie that I probably would have never picked for myself to watch.
Mm-hmm.
But I can understand why he picked this as something he liked watching growing up, and I get it. The movie I watched, I think, is a little bit dated in some of its dialogue, but of course, what isn't? But it looks like it did have a 40th anniversary recently.
Oh. Math. So.
How about you?
I never heard of the movie before, and she did give me a suggestion for a movie that is on my list to watch, and of movies to watch, and she was like, "Oh yeah," and I was like, "Well," it's like, "Well then watch that." It's like, "Well, watch one of those two." I was like, "No, you have to tell me," and it's like, "Well." It's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, here, I'll make it really easy for you. This movie I don't have to pay for. The other movie I do. She's like, go with the free one. I'm like, all right.
The deciding factor.
Yeah. So I will say the movie that I would have to pay to watch that is on my list to watch eventually was Seven.
Is that the one with the head in the box?
I think so.
I don't know anything about the movie other than the gif of like them going, "What's in the box?" Is that Seven?
I think so.
Okay.
Pretty much they're all named after like deadly sins and stuff. And I heard it's a really good like kind of crime mystery kind of thing, but I heard it's a really good movie. I just haven't had a chance to watch it, and now that I'm being budget conscious, That time still hasn't come. So
I happened to find a gift card, so even though I had to pay for my movie, I was like, because, long story short, I tried to find important documents and I couldn't find them, but I found gift cards to places I don't like to shop anymore. And I was like,
Blockbuster.
well, yeah, definitely Blockbuster. So I was like, might as well, use them. So yeah, I did have to pay for my movie because I think the movie I watched, I think I kind of hinted at it. It's like just that old enough that they're like, oh, we're not going to keep at the library because anyone who wants to watch the movie already has. And then streaming services don't really have it because they're like, not that many people are looking to rewatch this movie, so we're not going to hold it on the platform. So I had to rent it. But
I'm part of me is like being impatient to be like, what movie is 40 years old? Or just had a 40-year anniversary. I was like, no, be patient.
there's a lot of movies that are 40 years old now.
Yeah. Some older.
Even, yeah. But yeah, I guess I don't know if I have much else to say for an intro.
We are thankful for the people who chose these movies, for they put up with many of our ramblings. Probably, well, I don't know, more on different days. So, this episode is dedicated to them. Will you ever find out who they are? I don't know. If you do, don't be weird about it. We'll punch you in the schnoz. But, yeah. Well, you got to keep talking because you went first, so you got to choose the die for this week.
Dice! Yeah, I forgot that I won last week. So
Hey, the list didn't forget.
No, that's what the list is for. So let's see. So we've rolled pretty much all of them equally.
Yeah.
So let's go for a D12.
A D12.
So if you're newer here or you're not as familiar with why we roll our dice, we do it because we're both big fans of tabletop role-playing games, and we're rolling to see who gets to roll the lowest, and that person will go first as far as their movies go. There will be no spoilers. I have a feeling we did not watch the same movie, so we won't go in depth on our movies.
Oop.
But yeah, I rolled a 10.
Oh, okay. Let me roll here. I rolled a 4.
All right, I think that's.
I will
clear
say
winner.
I accidentally dropped my die, and I was like, okay, I wouldn't count that, but I will say it was a 9 before you said it, so it was either way I was losing or winning. So I got to think of a fun pun or joke about my movie.
While I think of a new rule.
Yeah.
I have to look up a random fact of the day.
Oh, I forgot about that one. That one was last week.
Yeah.
All right. Well, while that's going on, but yes, for anyone that is curious about the gambit of rules that we have, they are written below in the description for your perusal and checking out. So feel free to look at those and everything. And then at the end of the episode, we will spin a wheel and go from there. To find out what next week's topic is, where we have to go back and choose our own punishment or pleasure. I realized the way I said that, it made it sound like I did not like my movie. I did enjoy my movie. I had some questions about my movie, but it was still a good movie. Did I ramble enough for you to think of a new rule?
Not quite.
Okay,
I'm skimming over the previous rules just to make sure I'm not accidentally
That would be funny.
Yeah, not necessarily copying, but that they don't fight with each other.
Yeah.
'Cause we've had that before. Let's say. We already did something about when we spin the wheel.
There could always be more about spinning the wheel.
There could always be more. Let's
Spin
say.
that wheel. Dun 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 dun. I don't know why. I just remembered I never watched or never played, not Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 9.
Alright, I added that if you win twice in a row, you can also choose to respin the wheel.
Oh, everyone gets to respin the wheel.
Maybe. Alright, so let me look up a random fact. I went to Reader's Digest, and I'm just going to scroll to a random spot.
I feel like we need little jingles, like, it's that time for the random fact of the day. Wow.
Let's see. Some of these are boring, so I'm going to keep scrolling until I find one.
No problem. I'm going to write my notes. This is the show that this year is the year that I have more notes written down for our podcast than I did in my whole educational career. As I also try to find the timer. I guess while we're doing that, if you guys haven't been here before, because I think we get over general stuff, but we haven't. I don't think we went into specific stuff. So I'm gonna go first. And I have 20 minutes to describe my movie. As Hop said earlier, we are not going to go into spoiler town or anything. The only time we go into spoiler town is when we both have watched the same movie. For example, the D&D episode, which was episode 10. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, 6 episodes ago. I was counting. I was like, wait, it's episode 6. 16 right now. Yeah, so we have 20 minutes to sell our movie and talk about general thoughts of it, not go too deep. Which, in one sense, I think we're enjoying, but I think we're also missing like our deep dive on some of the movies. But because not every movie deserves a deep dive, but that's okay. Some movies are there for fun, like Godzilla versus King Kong. Where Godzilla turns Super Saiyan pretty much by eating radiation.
All right, so I'm gonna just read off this fact. I don't know how true it is. People can fact check me. This is for losing the dice roll. Here's my random fact for the people. Apparently, pigeons can't fart. Farts are caused by a noticeable number of eruptions from intestinal gas. However, for a bird, their intestine is short, which causes them to get rid of waste more frequently.
Well, that was some scientist's lifelong project to figure that out, so
I think that's plenty random.
I will agree. I just want to know, like, the conversation was like, "Hey Jim, hey Bob, what are you working on today?" "Well, I finally got approval for my project. The pigeon farts. Oh yeah." But
So yeah, so did I stall? That was not a very long time to stall, but did you come up with a joke with your movie title?
I think I have something. I'm not going to say that it's good, but let's see. I'm just writing the time down. All right. So, my movie was pretty much a movie where a bunch of people are trying to figure out who everyone actually is, like who did it, what is going on, why are you here, as we try to find the identity of the people. The movie was Identity.
Okay, I haven't heard of it.
Neither did I. Let me start my time. There you go. So it is so this movie, the pretty much like it opens up with this it is a reopening of a case where all these lawyers are meeting with like late at night before this mass murderer is going to pretty much be killed. Not killed, executed. Same thing, different word. And so they're going in there and everyone's like, no, he did it. There's no point. And there's like, no, there's new evidence. And then from there, we kind of like transfer like we go and so pretty much I forgot about that one line that is very important because they're like, well, where is he? And he's like, oh, he's on his way. He got stuck in traffic. Well, like they got stuck in the weather, but he will be here soon. And so from there we transition scenes to where we are at a motel, and it's like these 10 different people start showing up at the motel in the middle of nowhere. And they try to like they all come there from different circumstances, but it's just like the reason why they end up there is all kind of connected by random events. Because like pretty much we start off with this family, they pull over and they're like, oh my goodness, there's like I have a flat tire. Why do I have a flat tire? And it turns out that this a sex worker who is traveling along, who also ends up there, was like her suitcase flies open and like one of her shoes flies out, and her shoes what gives them the flat tire. And then it's like later that she's stuck because in the middle of the desert, like all this rain's pouring down, and like she gets her car stuck in like this like a ditch that all this like flash flooding rainwater's coming around, and so another character that's there goes and is pulling like goes and helps them out, and just so it's pretty much there's like 10 different people that all show up there. 9 people, and then the person who is watching the motel. And then the last person that shows up is a cop with this convict. And they're like, hey, this is what's going on. We need a room. And so they bring him in there, and they lock him in a room as they're trying to figure out everything else. Because the mom of the family, she gets hit by a car right in front of everybody, who is one of the other guests that's there, and it's like it's much more convoluted. Like it's easier watching it knowing how like in short everyone is connected and how they end up there by the circumstances of how they show up. And so they're all spending the night there, and they're all worried because it's like, hey, you have this murderer convict guy and they're like, yeah, we can't go any farther, so we're gonna have to stay here. And while they're there, they're just like, okay, what do we got to do? And they're trying to find out how they can get the mom fixed. And the guy who ran her over, who's Ray Liotta. Wait, is that the right person? No, John Cusack. Yeah, John Cusack. He's in this movie. He just knows a whole bunch of random skills, like where he's an ex-cop, and so he's like trying to do everything to be like, okay, I know how to stitch the wound, I know how to do this, and he's like helping them out. And as everything goes further, everyone's like, what's going on? There's a celebrity that was being driven, and they find her head in the laundromat at the motel, and they're like, what's going on here? And they find in like the clothes that were also in there her room key that was 10. And then as things are going on, like I forget, there's another character who dies, and they find the key tag 9, and then they're slowly realizing that somebody is murdering them all and counting down with the room key cards. And so they're trying to figure out who's doing what, and everything. And that's pretty much the general synopsis of it, because it's a murder mystery. As you can only go so far in a murder mystery without spoiling everything. So I'm going to tread lightly here. So it does have a twist. It does have I don't know if I like. So there's a couple twists in the movie. I think I enjoyed the main twist of it. And then there's another one that's later that I was like, that one just doesn't make sense. But there's like this whole thing where they, like, as people start disappearing, they're like, they're like, oh my goodness, is this like a supernatural thing? Is there something happening? Or like, because there's like the Indian Burial Ground, like, you know, this movie came out in 2003, so it was written in the 90s, and that was like still the hotness of like, ooh, spooky. But yeah, so they were talking about that, and that's, people were like, no, it's not that. That's just crazy talk. And then it's like there's stuff that they can't explain that's happening, where it's like kind of makes you wonder, well, is it? And you as the viewer, it was entertaining to watch this movie. This is something like, there's stuff I would love to talk about that is kind of spoilers, that it would be really fun to do a spoiler town visit, because there's like certain things, certain behaviors characters do that like, and it's like, it kind of ruins the experience for me to be like, oh, this character did this, and that made me suspect them for a good chunk onwards of what's going on. But overall, I was curious about this. They make a mention of to the movie, and then, or to the book, and then there were none by Agatha Christie. They made a reference to it, and then I find out now from the Wikipedia that it was inspired by it, which, if you have read that book, it is easy to see how it was inspired. And the more and more I realize, the more and more I watch different movies, I'm like, wow, there's a lot of like murder mysteries and stuff that are just inspired by Agatha Christie's work, and it's, I don't know how she did it, but it's good. So, but yeah. So overall, I'm just trying to see. Yeah, it's, as I keep saying and repeating and saying it, I'm trying to figure out like how to be vague, because like,
Yeah.
the clues to this murder mystery start early. So I'm trying to, because it's only an hour and a half. It's not a long movie, so it's like it kind of starts right away. But you know what I could share about it's, even though it is a little bit dated as in 2003, I think the set piece is really nice. I think they use the motel set piece very well, and it makes you as the viewer feel isolated with these characters, and it's just torrentially downpouring. It's just raining constantly, thundering and lightning, and I think some of the writing in there is like there's, as you see certain characters, the way they interact, it's not like that. You don't learn that he's an ex-cop until it's like a third through the movie, but there's behaviors that he does that you're like, oh, yeah, no, that makes sense. And like, he warns somebody like, don't stick your hands in there. Like, that's the like, what are you doing? You're going to you're gonna mess stuff up. Like, and we need to preserve like crime scenes and all that stuff for when like the police can finally get here and all that. And so there's like and like just the different sets of skills. Like it's not like some movies where it's just like, I'm ex-cop so and I'm awesome. And it's like, and none of the characters seem like a superhero, or just overly like this is the obvious hero. Like the obvious hero is John Cusack's character, because that's pretty much the perspective of the movie that we're following for the majority of it. But all the different characters, from their behaviors, from the way they interact and talk, you can see it. They're not like one dimensional. They got depth, and there's the family. We learn like the dad's acting really weird, like of just how he's taking care of the son. And like he sends the son, and he's just like, okay, I'll be right outside, like while you go to the bathroom, it's okay. And everyone's like looking at him weird, and he's just like, I'm a stepdad. His mom does this for him, and his mom's pretty much bleeding out on the bed, so it's like from the car accident. He's like, so I'm just trying to fill in and do my best. And like, and then from that point on, it's like, okay, he's not being like a weird dude. He's just being like, hey, I'm your stepdad. We're gonna figure this out. Let's and like just be patient. Like pretty much he's being patient and trying to like protect him while there's like this trauma and everything else going on. And then there's other interactions between different characters. The sex worker character, like it's like she instantly gets like marked as a sex worker, and the motel owner is just like, no, we don't rent out rooms to you, like your kind here. And it's just like the whole time it's like back and forth to the point they're just like, dude, what's your deal? And well, we find out his deal. So it's just like so that's just like a handful of characters. It's just a tight cast, and everyone plays their role well. And with, it's almost like when we watch Psycho, because that has pretty much just the motel, and then it has the house later. It's not a huge set, but it still feels big, that world, from what we're seeing. And like at the end, like of Psycho, like we leave that, like in the very beginning and the very end, we're not at the motel in that area. And here it's, while all the events are happening at the motel, like there's maybe like a handful of times that we keep going back to this trial that's happening while they're like, we need the suspect here. Like he's going on death row. Like he's going to be executed tomorrow. And this is, you guys can't be bringing evidence, and we need him here. And they're like, he's coming, and or whatever. And it's just, and we go back to the motel, and it's just everything going on there. And it's like, as no one's able to get radio connection, and it's just like in nowadays where everyone has cell phone service everywhere, it's there's only like a couple people that have cell phones, and when they do, it's like they have to search for signal, which I'm like, oh man, I forgot about that. So but overall, I think it does a really good job setting the vibe between the set, the characters, and it's just overall like a fun play on your expectations and movie as the story's going out. Plus, it's on Tubi, so you don't have to spend money to watch it. So
the little bonuses. But yeah, I get what you mean when you're like, I want to talk about this mystery movie, but you can't, because like, didn't we have a prompt like that in the beginning, and we both were like, yeah, watch it, because if I talk too much about it, you're not gonna want to watch it.
Yeah, it was let's see,
because I had let's see, I know I watched the like courtroom drama murder mystery,
yeah. 12 Angry Men and Autonomy of a Fall.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was suggested to me, and I think it was fun. I've told I need a fun name for her for the podcast, because saying that it's a frequent listener. But yeah, we both agree. Is it a perfect story? No, but it is a fun story. And if you enjoy the murder mysteries like that, if you enjoy Agatha Christie's work at all, and just like a fun, concise whodunit, I say check it out. I think it's worth it. And I'm going to surrender the rest of my time because I got nothing else to share without spoiling.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to do that with it, like, without getting in your own way. I guess I'll ask, so, like, could you tell right away that it was inspired by And Then There Were None? I know you read that not too long ago. Because I know And Then There Were None, I didn't finish it because I had trouble getting past some of her viewpoints because it has a lot of racist and like anti-Semitic things like tied into the original story for the time frame. But I remember she has like the countdown, right?
Yeah,
she does in that one. And then does it also have that like a poem or something for the clues?
No poem.
Okay.
There is like a poem that is said, but it's not really connected to. There is a poem, but it's not connected to the actual murders.
Okay.
It is connected to an overarching kind of theme, but it's like it's not like how in the poem of And Then There Were None, it pretty much spells out how people are going to die. There's not that. There is a countdown, and I didn't like. I was just kind of watching, so I wasn't like, oh, hey, I'm watching, And Then There Were None. But it was, they actually make reference to it, and they're like, oh, isn't it like that book? And then I was like, oh, hold up. And it's
I see
like,
what we're doing. Okay.
yeah, and it was before like kind of a lot of the murders start kicking off. And so yeah, there's stuff where it's like that's the thing, like when the murders start kicking off, and then like kind of some of the twists that are later, it kind of like starts poking holes in some of the overarching story that's going on. But yeah, in the end of it was just like, okay, that's it. And I would say it's a loose, it's more inspired rather than a direct adaptation.
Okay. So, like, if you're familiar with the original work, it's still fine to watch it.
Yeah. It, like, the most that it's there is that it's got the countdown to the deaths. Okay. Like, that's pretty much the major connect. There might be more, but it's
not as obvious.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was really catching of, like, the countdown of deaths, and like how they're connected, like how all the different characters are connected. But it's like, it's not. I will say it's not connected in the same way as Then There Were None, the way they were connected. So it's a little bit different.
Gotcha. Did that help you pad your time?
Yeah, I got 30 seconds left.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. So I give you the 30 seconds
bestowed upon me.
Yes.
All right. So I'll let you get your stuff all ready to write down for the time for me.
Yes, I am ready.
Okay. So, like I mentioned earlier, this is a bit of an older movie. This is one that Strider said that he remembers growing up with, and he knows it's not really a movie I would pick for myself, but that's kind of why he picked it for me. The movie is Stand By Me.
I heard of this, yeah.
Yeah, it's a coming-of-age drama film. Rest in peace. It was directed by Rob Reiner. And it... Apparently, I didn't realize it but until the very end. It's based on a novella by Stephen King called The Body. But basically what we have is we have 4 young boys who are all very traumatized in their own various ways. They kind of hint at either a rough family life or like bad expectations or like fathers that came back from war and have not been the same since. So as like kids, they're not treated like kids, you know? So a lot of the actors in it are famous. Like you'll probably recognize their names, Dpayne, as I read them off. You have Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell. And it's when Jerry O'Connell, I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then I paused the movie, and then it was like, oh, that guy. Like, I recognize his face. But yeah, so basically what we follow are these 4 young boys, and they catch wind that I think there's some reward if they can find a dead body of a missing boy. Like, apparently the cops have been searching for him, no one's been able to find him. And the boys decide that, like, oh, we're going to become men today, we're going to earn our keep, and we're going to go, like, find this body. I believe Will Wheaton's character, he is, he kind of lives in the shadow of his brother, and I guess it's not really a spoiler. But anyway, he lives in the shadow of his brother, can't seem to get out from underneath of that, and he feels like his parents don't see him for who he is. And then there is, I believe River Phoenix's character, who is, oh, he's a whole bunch of stuff. Like, but basically, he clearly has a rough go of it and is trying to be a positive influence to the other boys and try to show them that, like, hey, you're better than that. Because his own circumstances are pretty rough. I'm blanking right now what exactly his are. I know Corey Feldman's character, he's obsessed with war because I believe his father came back and hasn't stopped drinking. And so his character has in his mind, like, well, my dad went to war, and to be a man, I have to be an angry man who's, like, gonna win at the war. And he has moments later in the movie where he's, like, he only talks in, like, references to, like, storming Normandy and stuff and almost gets himself killed while the other kids are like, hey, stop it. And Jerry O'Connell's character, I don't remember if it's his home life that he's necessarily bold about specifically, or it's because he looks like a bigger kid. Like, he's picked on by his weight and stuff. And there's, I always forget how old Kiefer Sutherland is, but he's, like, a teenage bully in this. And, like, he popped up on screen, and I was like, does he, in this day and age, did he only play these characters? Because his look in it looks really similar to, oh, I'm forgetting, like, he has, like, the blonde mohawk, and I'm like, this looks almost like the same exact hairstyle as another character where I thought he was, like, a teenage bully. But yeah, so you have him, who's also, like, not a full antagonist, but he shows up from time to time to really, like, push the buttons of different characters. But, so, the movie mainly follows the perspective of Will Wheaton's character, because he as an adult becomes a writer, and then starts writing to reminisce about this particular weekend he spent with these boys, where they all decide they're gonna go find this body and claim the reward and everything like that. Oh, I remember now. Jerry O'Connell, I believe his brother is one of the bullies, and, and, like, there's, like, technically, like, a gang of boys that runs around town that are giving each other, like, stick and poke tattoos. And Jerry O'Connell overheard his brother talking about finding the body, and then tells the group of boys, and they all set out to do it. And kind of like your movie, you also said yours is a pretty tight movie. This one is also, like, an hour and a half, like, on the dot. So it's a very, like, tight movie. Mm-hmm. So we immediately start, like, with all the characters kind of being reminisced about all their different quirks and different things. The kids are, like, 12 years old, and they're all, like, drinking and smoking cigarettes. I was like, oh, what a rough life. No wonder they look so old for 12. But yeah, so it kind of follows a journey of them following these train tracks and getting into a whole bunch of, like, hijinks, fighting with each other, fighting with themselves, admitting, like, truths to each other and to themselves about, like, what they're, you know, about their lives and things like that. And it is very much like it does give, like, a big coming-of-age story for young boys who probably don't feel like they get listened to very well. Because, you have all the different characters at different moments. They run into something that, like, like I said, like Corey Feldman's character has a moment. He's like acting big and tough, and everyone's like, "Hey, you're gonna get yourself killed," and he's like, "No, I gotta do this. I'm big and brave and strong. I'm a big boy. I'm a man. Actually, I can do this." And then everybody else has to like talk him down and tackle him and like talk sense into him, and he's like, "Oh, maybe it's not worth it being that kind of big tough asshole guy if it gets me killed." And everyone's like, "Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Maybe you should like listen to your friends and not just like whatever you're taught at home." And I think one of the big pervasive things that they bring up time and time again is Corey Feldman's character, I believe it is, that his father held his head to like a stove and nearly burnt his ear off and everything like that. And that's like, they live in a small town, of course, so everybody knows him as the kid that almost had his ear burnt off by his dad. And even like they think they've like walked this really long way out of town because they've like they all did the thing where they're like, "You lie to your parents, I'll lie to my parents. We're all sleeping over each other's houses, and we're gonna go find this body." And then they make it pretty far out of town just by walking along the train tracks. And the one of the characters goes in to buy like food because they all of a sudden go, "Who packed the food?" And they go, "I didn't pack food." And it's like, 12-year-old boys. They made sure to get their sleeping packs, their flashlights, their like big tough stuff, but forgot food. So one of the characters goes to buy food, and he's like, "Oh, I saw you hanging out with that kid. How's his ear doing?" And the main character's like, "Hold on, how do you know about him?" It's like, "Because it's a small town, kid, so you're not that far out of town." Yeah. But yeah, they also have, like, a lot of the different things. Like, they have a whole junkyard scene where they're running away from the junkyard dog, and they're scared for their lives. They have several moments with the train where the train looks like it's gonna like be the end of them because they're walking along train tracks in different spots. They have a whole bunch of different like mini adventures that pushes all of them in different ways. So I was talking to Strider about it afterwards, and he was like, "What would you rate it?" I was like, "I give it like a 7 or 8," and he said he was surprised because it's not necessarily a movie that I gravitate towards. But I said, like, as a movie in itself, it knew what story it wanted to tell, and it did it. You know what I mean? Like, if I just accept that, like, the movie is a coming-of-age drama, it did its job. It was a coming-of-age, it had the drama, and it hit all the story beats that it should for that type of story. And looking back at it to see it was directed by Rob Reiner, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. I like most to all of the movies that he's done. I mean, Princess Bride is always going to be an important movie in my in my personal like things that I've watched. Oh yeah, his films literally go Stand By Me, then The Princess Bride.
Yeah. And then When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men, The American President, and then Ghost of Mississippi.
Lots of movies, but yeah,
he's got more in there. Oh, he did Spinal Tap. I was looking at his award-winning ones.
Yeah, like he did the 1984 This Is Spinal Tap, and then it looks like 2025. I didn't realize another one came out.
Oh, me either. So, yeah, that's funny. I didn't realize that, but yeah, no, he got some good movies on there.
Yeah, but you're right. Like for his award-winning ones, that's just his initial list. But yeah, so I think this is one of those movies that I can see being important to a whole generation of boys that are like, you have that awkward time between figuring out what masculinity is and also trying to find out what it is being a young boy in like post-war time frames. Because I mean, in the 80s, that would be like a lot of people post-Vietnam, right? Trying to come back from all of that and trying to raise kids. And I feel like even though, like, it does say that the film was re-released March 2026 for its 40th year anniversary, I feel like there's some things in it that still apply up to today. Like, while there's not a lot of boys being raised by people that are necessarily affected by war in the same ways, that we still have this really, like, shitty view of, like, how fathers should talk to their sons and how, like, I think it's easy for as a parent, when you look at your kid and your son is like acting out, you go, oh, he's acting out because he doesn't know his feelings. And it's like, yeah, I wonder whose fault that is. It's not the boy.
The government.
It might be your fault. And but in the movie, like, I think things are exaggerated just enough to make it feel obvious to the viewer, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the main character talks about how he feels invisible to his parents, and they show a scene where he literally goes, hey mom, where's this? And the mom doesn't talk to him, doesn't make eye contact with her son, and the dad has to awkwardly be like, check here. And then the son's like, okay, I guess. Mm-hmm. And like, it is explained why the family is as broken as it is, but I feel like those things that happen in families can still happen today. They sometimes are probably a little bit more subtle, but it still has the same effect on, children as it does in the kind of extreme way. In the same way that, like, Corey Feldman's character, he's like, oh, my ear almost got burnt off, and everyone talks about it that way. And it sounds like an extreme form of, like, things. And it is kind of pushed to a way to make it really obvious to the viewer, like, hey, this guy's father is not well and probably needs help before he can raise a son. Whereas I feel like sometimes I hear stories about people that are like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, my father did X, Y, and Z. It was just normal. It's like, it doesn't have to be. Like, So, while some stories that you hear, like, in real life aren't as extreme as holding your son's ear to, like, a stovetop, sometimes the things that you do in hopes of disciplining them can have similar, like, outreaching effects. I mean, like, you did some stuff with, like, children's psychology and being, like, a counselor. I'm sure you you get it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I can see why this is kind of stuck around and has been, like, a good coming of age story for boys that age. And I am curious if people were to rewatch this, but that's assuming people have empathy. I can see people who watch this and just go, wow, those boys thought they would actually pull this off. It's like, well, it's supposed to be about, the whole being forced to grow up, because they also talk about, like, for some reason, as 12-year-old boys, they're like, yeah, I'm so obsessed with seeing this dead body. And then they see the dead body and go, I really hate that I saw this dead body. In fact, this made me really sad and really upset because the kid's about our age. Like, yeah. There's a lot of, like, undercurrents of emotional, like, growth in there, and realistically I think the movie's only like 2 or 3 nights, because realistically 12-year-old boys, they can't last that long out wandering around in the woods by themselves.
See another example, what's it called? It was I'll find it, one sec. The example being Hunt for the Wilder People.
Yeah, like,
he goes out and almost dies the first day. But he was by himself, so we'll give him some credit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. And then it's also that same kind of thing of, like, looking at the movie, like, yeah, Taika Waititi is kind of like a more modern version of storytelling for these types of stories, for, like, the young man growing up. Sorry, I was using your opportunity to try and blow my nose.
Oh, it's all good. Everyone look!
That's why no camera. But yeah, I think overall, kind of like what you said with your movie, there's some things about it that don't age very well. There's, of course, things that don't age well in this. They have certain phrases. The bullies are a little homophobic, various things that I'm like, wow, you shouldn't say these words.
That's just reading Stephen King's work in general.
Yeah, but yeah, like, I think if you're an adult enough to know, okay, they're calling each other things that you should no longer say anymore. There is some stuff you could pull from it as far as either being a young man or maybe potentially being a parent kind of thing. Because, like you said, Taika Waititi's movies are another good example of, like, I think even Oh, what was the other one? The boy obsessed with Michael Jackson.
Boy.
Boy, yes. I thought it was just called Boy. But
I'll
yeah,
double
even in
check while you talked.
no, it makes sense because that's what he calls his son.
Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah, Boy.
Yeah. So like even in Boy, you have it that dad is also a little bit extreme, but it is kind of like you can really see how what the dad does affects the son almost immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dad's like, we're gonna go on this big treasure hunt and we're gonna like solve all things and get rich and be perfect and be a happy family again. And then the aunt is like, don't do that to him. Like, don't lie to your son. Don't build it up for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the son, as he's at that age where he's like, wait, my dad's a liar.
Yeah.
And how it kind of like snaps at him. So, I don't know, pretty interesting storytelling, especially for me who I don't necessarily feel like I have the same growing up experience, but I can at least empathize with some things with the different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with like Boy, you only have the one character. Stand By Me, there are the four, so I can see also where as a generation most boys could probably find themselves somewhere amongst the four main characters.
Mm-hmm.
How much time do I have left?
You got 3 minutes.
Okay, I can hear my congestion being like, "What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you still talking?"
Yeah. No, if if you're good, we're good. We can stop there. No.
I think I covered most everything.
Yeah. It's like the way you were describing and everything with as I recently just read it's it sounds like that's kind of like a general theme with a lot of his books, especially with kids, where it's just like the life sucks and like adults aren't great around it, but it's like those around you and stepping up and like being forced to grow up, which it's like, hey, it's themes that resonate with a lot of people, so it's yeah, it like as you were talking, I was like, yeah, the more and more, because I think when everyone thinks of King, they think of like his more horror focused tales, like the hotel one that I'm blanking on the name of, Pet Cemetery, and then what is it? Oh, whatever the one that's up there, Red Rum. The Shining, yeah. Like, I think a lot of people focus on that, but I think he does also have a lot of stuff that is horror. It's got horror themes, but it's not like the traditional horror of his writing style. And I think this sounds like one of those things.
I just looked up the Stephen King novella, and it does look like it's almost like, if not one for one, very close to the movie. Because, yeah, a lot of the descriptions are very, I remember them in the movie.
I do have some fun trivia about one of the characters that I just found out while you were talking.
Okay.
So, Kiefer Sutherland, one, didn't know he was British and Canadian, which it's just funny because when I think of him, I just think of Jack Bauer from 24. But what I find really funny is, like, most people have a middle name. He's got 5 middle names.
Impressive.
Yeah, his full name is Kiefer William Frederick Dempsey George Rufus Sutherland. And I'm like,
I don't think that fits on any forms.
yeah, it makes sense why he just calls himself Kiefer Sutherland. It's like, is everyone okay over there? Yeah, I was trying to see if there was a reason why, and your time's up. But, yeah, I didn't see if if it was just like, hey, those are our best friends, so let's just give them all the names, or what. So I don't know. It's crazy. The only other fun fact that I saw about Stand By Me was that there is a reference to this movie in Pokemon Red, Green, and Blue and Yellow, as
Oh.
well as Fire Red and Green Leaf Green. Because there's a time when you go into, if you're playing as the boy, you go into and talk to your mother as she's like the mom's watching TV, and you go and interact with the TV, and it says, "There's a movie on TV. 4 boys are walking on railroad tracks. I better go too."
Oh, that's funny.
Uh,
I Go ahead.
Oh, and like the only other thing was like if you're playing as the girl, it does a Wizard of Oz reference.
Okay. Yeah, I looked at the trivia on IMDb. It says after director Rob Reiner screened the movie for Stephen King, he noticed that King was visibly shaking and wasn't speaking. He left the room and upon his return told Reiner that the movie was the best adaptation of his work he had ever seen. Which I've heard that like Rob Reiner is one of the few directors that authors trust. Like Princess Bride, I think that was passed around a lot for who to direct it, and Rob Reiner's the only one that won it. And I've heard people argue Princess Bride, the movie, is like more fun than the book. So,
Yeah,
good director.
Yeah, the other thing is with Princess Bride, a little trivia for that is that the author of Princess Bride, he was like, "Okay, you guys want to make a movie about this? The movie will not work like for the book does not translate well to a movie." And it's like, and I think it's like, so if you can show me a script that's well, and like I think they showed him, it's like, hey, why don't I just rewrite the book for a script of the movie, and if you guys like it, you can do that. And that's what the movie is, from what I heard, was if I'm remembering correctly, that it's same with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like I think both of the authors for that wrote the stories, rewrote their stories for movie adaptation. And then a bunch of people that don't do research is like, this isn't what it's supposed to be. It's like, dude, the author wrote it. Relax. But, hey, we're only 7 minutes away where we could have gotten under 50 minutes and we could have removed another rule. But, hey, we do what we do. We ramble. But anyway, it's time to find out what we're going to be talking about next time we meet.
Yes, let me pull up all of the works.
She's dying over there and pulling up a wheel. It's spinning around. It's time for the wheel.
Unfortunately, I forgot to open OBS because I was like, oh, I don't have my camera on yet. I can't use OBS because it'll steal the camera. Silly. Oops. Silly me forgetting that I'm just not using the camera today.
It's all good.
So soon I'll have the ability to record the wheel being spun. For now, I guess I will reminisce on the fact that we're getting pretty far along the wheel. We only have 34 prompts left. Time's flying.
Yeah, well, we're in month 4. Yeah, we're getting close. We're about a third of the way through.
Yeah. Is there anything you're dreading? I know I used my respin, so I didn't have to watch Six-Headed Shark.
I don't think there's any that... So, there's ones on here that I know there's movies that I want to watch that I'm holding off in case it gets on there. The movie that I'm like, I guess if I had to dread, but it's like, you know what, if it comes up, it's just like, yeah, just let's get it, let's rip the band and get it done. A movie the other host disliked.
Yeah, that'll be something. But I can start recording now, so I will start spitting. Wait. Let me fix this, actually. Make it easier for you to edit instead of me clicking a bunch of stuff and you having to trim it. Okay.
It's all
spinning
good.
The wheel.
Spinning that wheel, spinning the wheel. What do we got to deal? It's probably still spinning.
So we have B movie.
Oh.
So you already did that one.
Yeah, I get to do it again. And you know what's nice about B movies? They're normally free.
Normally.
Yeah. So join us next week as we talk about the B movie, where the bee tries to romance a human, and they're kind of into it. It's weird. I actually never watched the B movie, but that's all I hear about it.
I know there's a lot of memes around it. I haven't watched it myself either.
Yeah. I also know that there's a mod that you can have the whole B movie script put into a book, and I think it's every time someone gets it and opens it up, it crashes because it's just so much text.
That's funny.
But
And for some reason, the woman is attracted to not only a bee, but a bee voiced by Jerry Seinfeld.
hey, we all have our pitfalls. But yes, that is where we're going to call it today. Thank you so much to our significant others for, as we joke around, how about I joke around in our conversations, they put up with our crazy ideas and ramblings of random creative things outside of this podcast. And they are very patient with us. And thank you for joining in our insanity. Highly doubt they listened to the episode because they heard us talk about it to them in person. I think they were just happy to actually know what we were talking about. But yes, thank you so much to them, and thank you guys for listening and making this far. And until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.